Welcome back, guys. So today I wanted to talk about Retrobit. Yeah, Retrobit. And their Super Retro-Cade. So this thing has been gaining and gaining in popularity lately. It is non-stop. People are selling out of these. People are constantly asking questions about them. People are joining my Facebook group specifically about the Super Retro-Cade. It's getting crazy. Just to be honest, it's getting nuts. I've had some comments out there, questions like, why is this thing so popular? Why is your Facebook group blowing up with almost every other post is about the Super Retro-Cade? People are asking about it. People are wanting, help with, hey, what games work on it, what don't, what are the best controller options, and we've touched on all of that. I'll have a playlist, you can peep it out. It's got all the Super Retro-Cade stuff in there, recommended controllers, the arcade sticks, game packs, all that stuff. But you can join the Facebook group if you want to get a little more information, a little more help on things. But today I wanted to talk about why is this thing so popular? Previously, in 2016 was it? Retrobit released this piece of crap. The Retrobit Generations. Man, just looking at this box. This one is sealed because previously my other ones didn't work or had issues and they got swapped out, and I just never opened this one because I kind of figured I don't even care if it works. I'm never going to use it. I'll just keep it sealed. But man, the box, there's so many stickers covering up changes. There was emulation issues with this thing, controller issues, a lot of little crap, just being honest, a lot of little crap with this system. Retrobit turned that around 2017 and released the Super Retro-Cade. Quite a bit better. A lot better emulation, user interface, all that wonderful stuff. So today I kind of want to talk about the pros and cons. Why is this so popular right now? What are our other options? And I also want to open it up and see the insides, because a couple people had asked, hey, have you opened this up yet? No, I haven't. But today we will. So let's go ahead, get this party started. Okay guys, so the Super Retro-Cade, like I said, it's blowing up in popularity. Tons of people want this thing. It is selling out all over the place. A lot of sellers are having a hard time keeping this in stock. Definitely a hit for Retrobit and definitely a hit for a lot of the sellers out there. It's doing very well. But it's just a simple plug and play. The retro gaming community who just wants easy access to games, to be able to play these games on a small little system or something that's considered plug and play in a sense. They want a simple solution. Some people want something they can customize, that they can have a more fuller experience with. And with the Super Retro-Cade, you're very limited. So that could be part of a con that you would say with this thing. You are very limited with your customization options. We haven't figured out how to get, anything with shaders or changing up the graphics for the user interface, anything like that, and I don't think we necessarily will. Some people don't mind the way it looks. It is fairly basic and bare bones. We have plenty of videos that you can go back if you've never used this to see, how everything works. You do have AV output, HDMI. Most of us are using this through HDMI. It does have an SD card slot in the back, and the cool thing with that SD card slot is we can add games. But we're also limited. We can get Super Nintendo Genesis, arcade games on here, NES games, and even then we're fairly limited with a lot of things. Arcade, for example, you're not going to get the same compatibility you would get on a single board computer. For example, Raspberry Pi 3, or even the new 3B Plus. You get better compatibility on these guys, and these are options that are out there. The Odroid XU4, that's another option that blows. Whoa, dropping screws over here. What's up with that? The Odroid XU4 definitely way more powerful than the Pi 3 or the B Plus, and a hell of a lot more powerful than the Retro-Cade. So those are options that are out there. Typically, The Pi, 35 bucks. You do need to buy all your additional supplies for it: HDMI, power, controllers, memory. Whereas with the Super Retro-Cade, it supplies everything other than your additional memory. But typically you can find SD cards for fairly cheap. Odroid XU4, you're looking at 65 bucks or so, somewhere around there. I'm not 100%, but similar idea. You need to get power supply, all that stuff. HDMI, most of us have HDMIs lying around, but you need memory and whatnot for that. So with those single board computers, you can download pre-made images, you can make your own image, you can tinker around with it, customize it, get a hell of a lot more compatibility, a lot more games, a lot more of a customized user experience than you would on the Super Retro-Cade. So those are all pros with that. The cons with these single board computers, obviously, that you have to buy the rest of the stuff you need. And it does take a little time putting things together. If you get a pre-made image, which is typically the easiest route to go if you're not into tinkering and messing around with stuff, the only thing you really need to do is set up your controls, and that's typically not bad. Pretty simple to do. Turn the system on, prompts you to set up your controls to each prompt on the screen, and you are good to go. Can you run into issues with it? Yeah, you can. Configuration things, compatibility issues, stuff like that, depending upon if you created the image yourself, or if you downloaded a pre-made image that didn't take into consideration certain things. Definitely you can come into those issues. So that could be another con that you may need to spend time figuring some stuff out. You could get lucky and just have a very smooth user experience, and that's definitely great. So why is so many people bypassing those options and going this route instead? A lot of people I know have both. They'll have a Pi and this. If you already have a Pi, can I recommend you getting this? I mean, that's up to you. If you want an additional system that isn't too expensive, 60 bucks, you get the whole setup. 60 bucks comes with the controllers, power, HDMI, you're good to go. The controllers could leave a little to be desired there, but there are a lot of compatible controllers out there, or you can build your own arcade stick for it. But besides the arcade stick, because the arcade stick stuff I think is just as easy to set up for this as it would be for a Pi, controller options are going to be limited for this. We have put out, what we have tested, what I have tested, what castlemaniagames has tested, and we've linked to all that, saying, hey, these are the controllers that we can confirm work on this system. But that's another thing that you can look at. And either way, pro or con, is the limited availability of controller options for this device. Whereas with any of these other guys, all the Pis, including the Pi Zero, Pi Zero's $5 board and can play pretty much everything this can play. But definitely, it's a little more involved, just a little bit. So why is everybody going towards this thing? And a lot of these guys are fully aware of these single board computers, so it's kind of crazy. And the simplest answer that I can give is that a lot of people don't have time for the rest of this stuff. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to download images. They don't want to set anything up. They don't want to deal with it. They want to plug something in and play some awesome games. And this is definitely a great option for that. The expandability as far as adding games, very simple. Adding games to any of these systems, any of these single board computers is simple as well. The reason I would say this is more simple is that you don't have to worry about too much other than putting them on a damn SD card and popping an SD card in here and you're good to go. With RetroPie, recall box, stuff like that, you need to organize everything. Whoop-de-doo, right? That's not that big a deal. And it's not. But I think this kind of streamlines that and makes it a little simpler. Naming your artwork properly to your ROM name, you're good to go. But a lot of us, in the community have been setting up packs. You'd be amazed if you've only followed what I have, put videos out on. Oh my God, these guys in my group, they're killing it. They've got packs with thousands of games for this thing. It's intense. So it's an amazing little device. Some people just want that simple solution, plug and play. Easy, plug it in, let's play some games, let's move on with their life. I don't want to tinker. I don't want to deal with any possible issues. This is streamlined. You have a power button, power it on, power it off. Whereas RetroPie, if you're setting it up yourself and you buy a specific case that has power and reset, you got to set up the script, stuff like that. Not difficult, but I can definitely see how a lot of people are, their appeal is more towards something like this, that is going to have more of a limited experience as far as the game compatibility, what you can play on it, stuff like that. But for a lot of people, that outweighs spending about the same for, a single board computer setup and having to do just a tiny bit amount of work. Sometimes it's a headache for some people, sometimes it's not. There's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. What? No right or wrong answers as far as how you want to game, how you want to play, what you want to play on. But it is baffling to a lot of people. Why is this thing so popular right now? This is a mass-produced plug-and-play system. And I think part of it could be attributed to the popularity of Nintendo's classic systems. Is this as good as a Super Nintendo Classic or an NES Classic? In my opinion, no. But as far as having something that already has a ton of awesome games, and that's the one thing that sets this apart from a lot of the other plug-and-plays, the little crappy ones that have been out for a long time, and a lot of them that have been out for a long time, they only use AV, so that's another selling point in this, is that it uses HDMI. But a lot of times those things are either limited in that they only have a small subsection of games, small genre, selection of a genre or whatever, not expandable, or the user interface will be real wonky like at games, or the emulation will be really crappy like some of at games stuff, ass games stuff. I don't want to completely knock them. They have gotten a little better, but are any of the at games devices as good as this? In my opinion, no. They could be, but they're just not. So that's what's going on with this. This thing is it's killing it out there. I can highly recommend this, and I can also highly recommend Pi or the Odroid, whatever you're more comfortable with. If you just want a system that just plug and play, have access to a bunch of games, and a community that is supporting it, this is great. We also have a big community that supports the Pi and the Odroid, so that is awesome as well. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. Kind of look at, I'm not really a big tech guy as far as chipsets and stuff like that, but we can open up, look at it, see what makes this thing tick, see if it's a big globby mess in there or not. Hoping it's not. Some previous RetroBit devices, I was not too impressed with the way the insides looked. Really hopeful on this. So let's go ahead and dive up close and open her up, see what we got. Okay guys, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and open this up. So when you look back here, there's gonna be a little black rubber foot there and there. You just have to take those two off. The two up here that are near the back panel, you don't need to remove those. There's no screws underneath there. So here, there's gonna be a QC sticker. You're gonna have to take it off or pop it off or break through it, whatever you wanna do. If you want to open this up, really no point in opening it up unless you have an issue and you want to try to fix it. But just 4 Phillips head screws that we need to remove. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we have inside of this thing. Is that 4? Yes, it is. So we got the 4 screws out. And there she is in all her glory. Let's go ahead and pop that off. Get a little closer look here. Come on. That's just the power button there. But there she is. We've got our main board, little single board computer there. Got a fairly decent sized heatsink. There's our SD card slot, HDMI. We do have some ribbon cables, so this ribbon cable is attached to a USB controller. So that's for our, obviously for our inputs. And then this little fella is for our video output. So our AV, it's just for our AV and our power. HDMI is integrated onto the actual board. Oh, I was trying to be careful, but screw it, I guess. But as you can see, let's try to get a little bit closer. There's our main chip there, and that is going to be an all WinterTech H3Q quad-core ARM Cortex A7. It's a Mali GPU, 400 at 600 megahertz. So not too bad. Definitely, I'm not 100% with the other chips on here with the RAM and whatnot is going to be, but not bad. It's going to be comparable to an Orange Pi. These specific chips, the H3Q, the Mali GPU 400, those are most commonly used in Orange Pis and other Android set-top boxes. That's pretty much what they were designed for. Not bad. Like I said previously, I've looked at other Retro-Bit consoles. Nothing of recent stuff, more so from a couple years ago, and the insides would just be a total mess. This is at least clean, planned out decently, it seems. It is what it is. So essentially, if you're using one of these, you pretty much have something very similar to a Pi in there. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you do have your options of jumping on one of these guys, and we do have a very strong community that supports this, and this guy as well. So whatever your gaming desires are, we've got you covered on this channel and in the Facebook community and everything else that we're working on out there. So take a look. If you're interested in this device, the Retro-Bit Super Retro-Cade, I'll put some links in the description if you want to pick one up. If you are interested in either a Pi 3 or a Pi 3B Plus, put a link out there as well. We've got a lot of work going on with that thing, a lot of support already out there, a lot of people working on things. So, hey, join the Facebook group if you want more help and more support, and it's a pretty awesome community. So, appreciate you guys stopping in, watching this, checking it out. Appreciate it, really do. It means the world to me. Smash that like button if you could, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. And with that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. Boom.